Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is Kick-Ass because Valencia has entered the chat. For those of you who do not know who this gentleman is, you need to go check out my Kick-Ass playlist and come back and watch this video. But just because I'm a nice guy, here's a quick refresher. He's an absolute madman, a psychopath who loves violence so much, he goes by the name Valencia. Now, let us begin, because Kick-Ass Patience is on the run. If you remember from the last video, she had just gotten into a battle at a restaurant with her hand messed up. Now escaping was easy, she was used to running away. The problem came when she had to get her hand treated, because that cut was deep. So she swapped to her jogging clothes, throwing her costume away and heading straight for the hospital. Shorty was smart enough to have formulated a story that would protect her, making sure they understood she wasn't in a fight. It was just a freak accident, but the doctor was a doctor for a reason. He knows a stab wound. He looked her dead in her eye and asked her, "Are you good?" And she said she is. She didn't like to lie, but this was the only option. Thinking back on her choices, she has hurt a lot of people. This was the same hospital her brother-in-law was at, and she stepped into his room and actually said, "I'm sorry," because honestly, it was her fault he was like this. I mean, no disrespect. He was a piece of shit, but it was still the wrong thing to do. They were family after all. Finishing up her apology, she headed back home. She still had a life to live, school to go to, and only one kid of all her kids knew she was kick-ass, which is why she kept asking the oddest questions. "Did you hurt your hand while being a superhero, mommy?" She said, "Nah, it was just cooking." Throughout the day, she kept getting calls from an unknown number, and she made it a point never to pick those, because right now, she had to lay low. Oh, if she knew who was coming. If she knew who just got out of prison. Valencia was out, and he was a fierce soldier. Everyone here knew his capabilities, but most of all, he was loyal. The second he heard Hoop was taken out, he got enraged. "Why do I have to work for you? What benefit is that to me?" 2 words, my friend. Kick ass. And when he said that, Valencia smiled because he was so in. He loved revenge. Our girl was in danger. She was still laying low though. She was about to change shifts at work and was heading home for the night when she got the same odd call and ignored it. But this time, she noticed someone in the shadows. Someone was approaching her. Now, she was strong, but at the end of the day, she was still a woman. So she got prepared. You will lose an eye, I could promise you. Only for her to look at the shadows and realize this person was a friend. Matter of fact, this person was her partner, her sniper, during her time in Afghanistan. This guy was her person. He was discharged apparently because of his leg. The sniper got him. He wanted to hang out, but right now she was busy and she let him know, "If you see you calling me, I promise to pick up next time." As she drove off though, we see a look on his face. A look that says, "I'm here for a reason." Anyways, Shorty went back to her boys because now it was time to go hunting. These guys have fucked with our family. They have attacked me. It's time for us to return the favor. I want you guys questioning everyone. Go to their territories and fight if you need to. Break some heads. We need an address for our enemies. If she only knew, her enemies were preparing for her as well. Because right there and then, Santos and his right-hand man have put together a weapon for Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass herself was also on the bloody hunt. She wanted an address for anyone, known associates, and thankfully, the right-hand man was so laxed enough that one of his guards gave her the address to his home. So she decided, well, it's time for a reunion. This guy stabbed my hand. I'm going to his house. And what a house it was. In every room, there was one form or another of weaponry, a multitude of them for multitudes of cultures. But he had an affinity for knives and blades. It was showing. And worst of all, she was unaware that she was not alone in this house, for he was around. And as he turned on the lights and she turned around, they both knew it is up. He grabbed the blade, and before she could strike, she was airborne. Both of them struck each other at the same time. And at that moment, at that split second, she could tell he is dangerous. He has experiences. probably special forces just like me. He obviously has a leg up being a man, so she had to fight smart. Thankfully, he punched her so hard, she flew into one of his cabinets. She grabbed the katana and went to town. She had the reach now, and even he was smart enough to realize that this was dangerous. I mean, you ain't no Bruce Lee. You cannot dodge no sword strikes. To top it all off, she took his hand. He was bleeding to death. Are you going to just leave me? Nah, I need to know where your boss is at. He screamed the address. Oh my days, call the ambulance. She said no thanks, clocked him in his jaw, and left him there to bleed. Call it what you will, but she is a boss. But she was hurt still. Later that night, she realized there was no time to wait. As long as he's confessed, he's probably going to call the boss. So she had to move quickly. That being the case, she had to call her sister to cover for her with her kids. Her sister thought she was going on a date. Unknown to her, this was life or death. Literally, she helped them pack their stuff, and she said thank you to her sister. Watching her take her kids away, she knew this would probably be the last time I see them, but she was still hopeful. Right now, it was game time. Right now, she called the boys. It's time to pull up. And all of them pulled up in the cover of night to the boss's address. I mean, they were good. Or should I say, she was good. She was moving in the shadows like a goddamn ninja. The building was completely surrounded with 24/7 cameras and guards with weaponry, and yet she still managed to find her way inside. Put some respect on the name of patience, because she has got it like that. Only problem was, she was expected. Honestly, they waited for her. Clearly shocked by this new development, she decided to play it cool. Put your guns down, or I will drop both of you right now. Of course they didn't put their guns down. She made it clear that she wasn't alone, but they didn't care. Your men are already dead. Can't you tell? Can you hear any gunshots? She waited for a moment and realized, yeah, it's way too quiet. But still, she was still fast enough to pull a bullet in both of their brains right now. What is stopping her? And she got her answer quickly. She wasn't even fast enough to react because he was right behind her. And with one punch, he sent her flying. He did tell her the first time they met, if you're a hero, I'm a supervillain. That's right. Valencia was right before her, and this brother was wearing a big metallic suit. By the looks of it, it has to weigh a ton. Clearly also bulletproof as well. He knew her. He knew what she was capable of, and he wasn't playing games. You die today.